Coming up next on The Voice of Alabama Politics, crushing the hemp industry. Also, more Ponzi scheme investigations. And bigotry is alive and well in Sweet Home, Alabama.
And I say segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever.
Make America, make Alabama, make it hate again. All this and much, much more coming up next on The V. Welcome to The Voice of Alabama Politics, where we tackle the tough issues so you have the hard facts. I'm your host, Bill Britt, and as always, I'm joined by Susan Britt, research guru extraordinaire, and the check didn't come, Josh Moon, investigative reporter and columnist at APR.
Tried to slip one by. I'll just deal with it normal. That's fine.
Josh, you were amazing without pay. And I know we've said it time and again, but one thing that we've learned in the last 10, 12 years is that the type of racist hate that many of us believed was no longer there, or at least it wasn't brought to the surface on a daily basis, had subsided. But it has gotten worse and worse. A candidate running for city council in Hoover, Tanvir Patel, has received hundreds of racist, Islamophobic messages on Facebook and other social media platforms, and death threats, so much that the Hoover police have taken it seriously. And Susan, what they're doing is not only trying to intimidate Ms. Patel, who happens to be a Muslim, but she also is of Indian descent. She's a successful businesswoman. She and her husband are been in that community and have done tremendous things for that community. But because she is a member of the Islamic faith, she has been targeted with racial slurs, Islamophobic slurs, and death threats.
Ridiculous is not the word I'm looking for. It's absurd. It's just pure hate. That all is. It's all, all of a sudden it's okay to hate people. And I just really despise that about our country right now. But they're targeting this woman. They're making sure that the people who want to go out and vote for her are afraid as well. Voter intimidation, death threats. I'm not even going to use the words that they have used in here, but things like this is some secret Islamic plot to take over the country. It's just absurd. The length that these people are going to. And now I'll point out too, though, her opponent, Robin Schultz, is now saying or claiming that she's doing this to herself.
Yeah,
she's doing this to herself? Really?
Josh, they're acting like this was a stunt. Now, APR broke this story, and it has gone national, has gone viral, because you know what? People are not surprised that there's such hatred in Alabama. They're not, because we are the original segregation today, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever. But we've tried to shirk that image. But it is alive and well, even though only 0.5% of the state of Alabama's population is Muslim. 0.5.
Yeah, it's always disgusting to see these things and to realize that these folks kind of live among you, and and most of it is obviously done anonymously, and you don't know where they're from or what they're doing, and why they're doing this, other than just pure intimidation and trying to prop up their own religion, which that continues to be a befuddling thing to me, is that I never realized that the Christian religion was so fragile that we've got to keep doing a lot of these things. But some people seem to think so. And, I don't understand these people because so often this comes from the same crowd that loves to wave around the little mini constitutions and things that they carry around with them and talk about these stuff. Yeah, we have a freedom of religion in this country, and we have it for a reason. And if you doubt the effectiveness or the importance of that, I would like for you to take a look at what is happening in Israel and Gaza right now. Okay, this is the same sort of things that happen because people get so when you believe that your everlasting life can justify whatever actions you take, then there's no limit on the horribleness that can come from whatever it is you're doing.
Right.
Okay. And so by having this freedom of religion in this country and allowing people to exist and to practice and to do things however they would like to do them, that has avoided all of these things. And the idea that these people can't wrap their head around this and they believe that their religion is so fragile that they must attack somebody else because of theirs, it's just, I don't know. I can't. It's something that's so foreign to me that I can't even wrap my head around it. I don't understand how these people are walking among us.
I know. And one of the things that was most disturbing that I saw in this was the post that said, "How come we're not allowed to just shoot and kill these people and get them out of our country?" Now I cleaned up the language, but why is it not okay for us to shoot and kill these people?
Yeah.
How disturbing is that? What kind of disturbed individual says something like that?
It's not their country. You know what I mean? When he says get them out of our country, it's their country too.
Yeah,
it is.
It's their country too. We don't have a religion here. You can't. Nobody is an enemy because of the religion that they practice. I don't care if it's Satanism. It's still not your religion. We still don't base our hate and our acceptance and the rights that we bestow on people because of their religion. And this nonsense of targeting this poor lady and making her feel this way she's done nothing but positive, good things, it seems, for her community. And now she's trying to run for office to further that. Shut up. If you got a problem, attack her politics, but leave her alone.
She and her husband and other community activists in the area of Hoover have started a Red Crescent free clinic for people, for anybody of any religion. She's on the Interfaith Council, the greater Birmingham area, where she works with Christians and Jews and everybody else. I have been to temple, and they made me feel welcome. I have been to churches where they made me feel like crap. I have not been to a mosque yet, but I'm going.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be respectful, and I'm going to try to understand. And that's the problem. And Josh said it. When you think that you're God's holy chosen one, then you have a license to do whatever you think to do to somebody you think is not. But that, your God I can't buy that. But what I can buy is that this is the United States of America. You have the freedom to worship according to the dictates of your own heart, or not worship at all, because that's what America is. The freedom to exercise religion and the freedom not to exercise religion. But when you threaten candidates and you threaten to kill people, then you are the problem, not them. Anyway, you're watching the voice of Alabama politics. We'll be right back.
Your home is your most valuable asset. But what if someone tried to steal it from you? Property fraud is one of the fastest growing areas of fraud in the country today.
As a district attorney, I've seen firsthand the devastating effects of property fraud. That's why I'm proud to support the Montgomery County Probate Court's REACT program.
REACT is designed to protect your property and to give you peace of mind. By signing up, you'll receive an email notification if a document is filed against your property.
This program is a game changer. It has the potential to prevent fraud and protect countless homeowners throughout Montgomery County.
So don't wait. Sign up for REACT today and protect your home.
Protect your home with REACT. Sign up today.
Alabama has a hands-free driving law, and that means you can't hold your mobile phone while making a call. Oh, and no writing messages, recording, or watching videos either. Plus, you can only use a single button or swipe of a finger to answer a call. So what's a driver to do? Alabama's hands-free driving law is in effect. Follow it.
Welcome back to the voice of Alabama politics. A second round of subpoenas have gone out in that Georgia alleged Ponzi scheme. I wrote about it this past week. And Josh, I got some calls where people sounded like they were dragons with indigestion. I mean, just, whoa. But Brad Ratzenberger, I think I pronounced that wrong, but the Secretary of State of Georgia is set out another round of subpoenas. And from all indications that we are hearing, Josh, you hear the same thing, Susan does too, this seems to go, not certain, but seems to go into the very heart of the Alabama GOP. We know that at least three GOP members have taken money from this group, and then there's been investment by Andrew Sorrell. But we hear that there were people that were actually going into churches and Algot meetings and actually pumping this investment here because they were getting a kickback. What do you think, Josh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think we've all kind of heard those rumors of this, of the way this has been going down, and I think it's a natural, it's a natural thing to believe because of the people who are involved in it currently,
right?
With the school, Alan Long, Ben Harrison, and Andrew Sorrell, and those folks kind of run in the same group. Together, and they're North Alabama politicians, and they're close to the Walls up in North Alabama, and they're close to some other people around up here too. And so I think we've all heard that this thing. Obviously, if all three of them got involved in this, I mean, it's what I mean. It's pretty clear that some people were talking about it, and that somebody was pitching on the ideas, and that there were some introductions made to certain people. And we know from the way that it was sold through advertisers on radio that this thing was pitched as a Christian patriot fund that you could get some money back from. And so, none of these things are a stretch. Okay. Now, whether or not somebody got some kickbacks, and you say kickbacks, that gives it a negative connotation or illegal connotation. I'll say they were compensated for bringing people. They were given a finder's fee, let's say. Now, whether or not that's illegal, from what I understand, is determined by the SEC on the basis of what information you provided the people you recruited.
Right.
And so that's up to them. And I've the only SEC that I know how to deal with is the Southeastern Conference and football. And people will tell you my predictions there are not very good. But where this thing goes and who it ensnares, I think is still yet to be seen. I think there are going to be a lot of big names that get subpoenas and or at least requests to testify or to provide information.
Yeah, and I'm not saying, Susan, anybody has done anything illegal, but I'm just saying that this didn't just touch these three individuals that we know about. And we haven't heard anybody come forward and say, well, you know what, I got duped or this or that. And there's been calls that have gone out to say, hey, were you involved? And we're not getting answers on that.
Let me put this into perspective. It's $140 million involved from churchgoers and elderly folks. There's $3 million left in the fund. And I got one question for you. Where is Steve Marshall? Where is the Attorney General of Alabama to figure out who is involved in this in Alabama? How far? He's sitting on his duff somewhere. And if he thinks he needs to be senator, what are you going to do? Sit on your duff there?
Of course he is. He's just a showboater. But he is, as one GOP operative said to me, you think Steve Marshall's going to step on some big toes when he's trying to become senator? He never even stepped on a pinky when he was running the Attorney General's office.
People, let me make it very, very clear. Steve Marshall is not a serious candidate for anything.
No,
he simply wants to work his way up to the highest office he can get, so he can get the most money he can get, and mainly have his face everywhere.
Well, I mean, he has never graduated beyond being sort of a frat boy kissing butt at a pledge week. But Josh,
we're talking about people's life savings here.
Well, he doesn't care. I can tell.
I know. I care. I care.
Man, let's move on to the next one. Florida did something weird, really weird, and Florida's known for weirdness, you know. But they have struck down this Florida law about banning books that people deem sexually explicit for, youth. Unlike Alabama, where we don't really have a law like that.
Just wait.
But John Wall is trying to make it so that nobody ever reads a book that he doesn't like.
There's that name coming up.
And
again.
I would like to know how many books John Wall has read, but that's another story. What do you think, Josh?
I'll keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, no, this is a continuation of our trek around the courts here, and I would like it if we could finally get one of these things into a federal court somewhere, because I believe that there's a federal court case to be made from everything that has gone on here, just like there is in Florida. And I simply don't believe that they have the standing to do what they're doing, because it's absurd on its face. Most of these books, they can't even tell you what their definition of obscenity is.
Right.
They can't define it. And we've gone through this before with the People versus Larry Flint. If you can go watch the movie. So we've been through these things before with censorship and other types of rulings from courts. And I don't believe that they can meet the standard here, or the burden that they're going to have to meet to prove that they have the right to move these things around or try to limit the viewing of books and stuff. I mean, honest to God, it's a building with books in it. Watch your kids or don't watch your kids. They can check out the books or they can not check out the books. I mean, if a publisher published the book, it should be in a library somewhere and you should have access to it.
Right.
Okay? I mean, if you don't want your kids to read the book, watch your damn kids.
Yeah, and I mean, there are some true believers who think that, but most of this is made up malarkey to gin up the ignorant base so that they go out and think that, they're corrupting our children. Honey, we've been corrupting children since the start of the nation. That's one of the things we do. They used to corrupt the hell out of slaves.
You think? Yeah.
Go ahead, Susan.
This is just, I mean, I'm with Josh. This is lazy parenting. And moreover than that, this is overreach by a limited group of people who want to make a name for themselves, who want to say they're doing something for the community, when all they're doing is grandstanding and building fear.
Yeah.
That's all this is.
Well, they are the precursor to The Handmaid's Tale. And
yes, certainly are.
We're sort of getting into that first and second chapter. Thank you, Margaret Atwood. But anyway, we'll leave it right there.
Right.
You're watching the voice of Alabama politics. We'll be right back.
Alabama has a hands-free driving law, and that means you can't hold your mobile phone while making a call. Oh, and no writing messages, recording, or watching videos either. Plus, you can only use a single button or swipe of a finger to answer a call. So what's a driver to do? Alabama's hands-free driving law is in effect. Follow it.
Welcome back to the voice of Alabama politics. When our enlightened lawmakers wrote HB 445, which basically has destroyed the hemp industry and put hundreds of businesses out of business and thousands of people out of jobs, they left it up to the Alcoholic Beverage Control, the ABC board, to write the rules. Now, this past week, they came out with the rules, Susan, and the rules contradict parts of the law. They're about as clear, as whatever. They're just not clear.
Of course they're
but
not.
They're complicated. They contradict the very law. And all Andy Witt, the guy, the mastermind behind this bill, could come out and say, well, we're protecting our children and we're not going to stand for anybody corrupting our kids with these drugs. He didn't say this, I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah, to the point that the law says that the hemp-based drinks need to be behind glass.
Right.
All right, the ABC board has said they need to be non-visible. In other words, in a back room somewhere, in a cooler where nobody can see them. I mean, this is really taking, that's just one example.
Right.
They're talking about child-resistant containers. What kind of other, monetary strains are you going to put on this industry? Packaging mandates, visibility bans, new licensing burdens. What they're trying to do is put the hemp industry completely out of business.
For no other reason that Andy Witt jacked everybody up on this. Josh, I have never seen a child safety cap on a bottle of Jack Daniels.
No, I haven't either. It's just listen, reading through the rules, I kept wondering if maybe the AMCC.
I wouldn't doubt their involvement. I wouldn't.
Yeah, we're kind of in the same ball field here, where we have rules that don't match the law, and that we're going to do enforcement that doesn't really follow the laws,
Right.
and you know what it's leading to. There's going to be a lot of lawyers get paid. I mean, really, there are going to be some lawsuits, and there's going to be a judge who sits up there who these folks are going to vilify, because the judge is going to say, well, you're not following what the laws say.
Yeah.
And then, and we're going to have protracted litigation that goes on forever, and that hundreds of thousands of dollars, or if not millions of dollars, like with AMCC, is going to go out the door for this nonsense. And in the meantime, you've stopped something that wasn't hurting anybody.
No.
I mean, honestly, you could have put some regulations on these products that made them prevented children from going in and buying them. You could have stiffened the penalties for people who sold them to children, just like you do with alcohol. You could have run some extra stings on folks to make sure that they understood the process, and you would have solved what was essentially not really a problem, because even when they went looking for a problem, the best that I could tell was they had one kid who got sick, and then some legislator's kid went in and bought some stuff. I mean, that's the extent of your hemp harmfulness. Okay. In the meantime, you're still selling tobacco and alcohol in these places over here, which are killing thousands of people every damn day. And we're not doing anything about that, because I guess those aren't harmful. I don't understand how that's not a felony. But we did, instead of just implementing the same rules we have for a product that is much more harmful, we went this route here, and it's stupid.
Yeah.
And this is what we're going to end up.
Here's what you're not going to stop. You're not going to stop the need for the product. You're not going to stop the people with PTSD that need relief. You're not going to stop the people with pain. You're not going to stop the people with all these, the epilepsy, et cetera, et cetera. But I tell you what you are going to start up, and probably already has started up, is the black market, where this pushes us back onto the black market because people need this product. They're going to get it one way or another. But then you start adding in, talking about protecting the children. Now you start opening it up for fentanyl to be put in there and all these other little things.
Well,
That's what you've done. That's what you've accomplished.
There is no law in the state of Alabama that says in your home you can't get drunk as Cooter Brown.
Mm-hmm.
There is no law. Now, as long as you don't drive and don't make yourself a nuisance, you can get drunk in public.
Mm-hmm.
You can, because we don't tell people that they can't drink alcohol. I mean, the dumbest thing in the world is to think that a 14-year-old can't get alcohol. All you got to do, because I've done it, is stand outside a convenience store and say, hey, dude, if you'll buy me a 6-pack of beer, I'll give you 2.
If you couldn't figure out how to do that as a teenager, you were certainly dumb.
You had to be the dumbest kid in the schoolyard, and if you had an older brother, you were good, man. I mean,
you were one of the most popular kids in school.
My brother took me to a bootlegger. because he was that much older than me. So don't tell me you can't get it. You can get whatever you want, but
you can't regulate it when it's on the black market, folks. You can't regulate it. You can't make sure exactly who's getting it.
Nobody's happier about this than Shaggy, who sells the weed.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, really, they're not. I mean, this is who you've helped out, and because the people, you're right, the people are still going to buy these things, and they still need them, and they still want them. And so you've just opened up, you've just provided for the black market, just like we've done in gambling as well. I mean, it's the same process as gambling. All of our screwed up things come back to the same legislative approach that we have on this stuff. It's closing our eyes and just throwing a dart at something in the dark. And it's just, we continue to do these idiotic things in governing very serious problems. And we don't offer a solution that means anything to anybody and hurts the people who are most vulnerable.
And the thing that really, really upsets me more than anything is this opens this up to not being a regulated product that people can trust. If you're buying it off the black market, you don't know what you're getting.
No,
you don't know what's in it. If they're buying it out of a hemp store that's regulated, can you hear that word?
Yeah.
You know you're getting a quality product that's not going to kill you.
The hemp stores in this area, the hemp stores in Montgomery, the hemp stores in Birmingham, the hemp stores in Huntsville, they're all going out of business because these rules even make it harder because the main product that they sold and that people wanted was the smokables because they're the most effective and they can regulate the effect. When you take a handful of gummies, you don't know how much that's going to affect you, but you do know with the smokable products. Now, I have never tried this, but I've talked to literally almost 100 people who have told me that what Andy Witt and the legislature has done is ruining their lives right now. And I heard from a vet who said, I hadn't had to buy marijuana on the street in years, and now I am back on the street, getting my connection so I can have what I need to live. But this idea of live and let live, that doesn't work with the Alabama legislature. All right, you've been watching the voice of Alabama politics. You watch us because we watch them.